What good, ladies and gentlemen? This is your host, the Peace Dealer, and welcome to your Mercury and Pisces transit talk. Okay, let us go in. Shout out to y'all in the live chat, whether you're watching this live or whether you're catching the replay. Yeah, I didn't want to start the visual at the beginning of the transit. This is where Mercury is today, right now, as of recording. Okay, the moon is getting ready to leave Libra, and Mercury has just made it ahead of the zodiac. So I will I don't want to say break down or explain, but I will really just speak on how I will really just speak on how there we go. The sequence of Mercury's transit is going to unfold this activation collectively of the brain mind, the Godhead, but we really could just say your conscious capacity to process metaphysical phenomena. Okay, this is talking to ghosts. This is maybe having more lucid dreams, but it's also, if you think that when you have a application on your phone or computer, you usually will get notifications to update the software. Okay, I always like to say Cap is like the hardware, and Aquarius is the programming, and Pisces is the software. Well, this is like coming into a software update, and the software update that your brain is coming into is preparing you for this year. Mercury, like Venus and the sun, take at least a year to the sun, 365 days, but Mercury, even with its retrogrades, is going to usually every year sign these new contracts. So as you can see, Mercury is right next to Kronos, the child eater. Saturn, the black cube man, and the sun, which has effectively activated with, we say activation because mathematically Mercury right now is 1 degree from Saturn. That means that exact conjunction is what we call a cazimi. The sun and Saturn right now are about 0 degrees. We say 0 degrees because at 9 and 9, they're 0 degrees apart from each other. And now that Mercury is 10 and Saturn is 9, they're 1 degree apart from each other. All right. And Mercury is going to gradually extend its degree range as Saturn takes a while. Okay. Mercury's going to retrograde at the end of Aries. Wow. So it's going to make it through Pisces. And now from 1 degree to 30 degrees, from 0 to 30 degrees of Mercury's position and even the sun to Saturn, that is the activation. That is the Aries signature. All right. People who have their moon 0 to 30 degrees away from their sun, they're Aries signatures. They could be steppers in their own kind of way too. So be careful. But like, they're activators. So we are activating what subsequently Venus and Mars will also sign their contracts. Mars takes every 2 years. So that's a 2-year contract. Everything that Mercury has now updated and is updating, because we want to see Pisces as a mutable sign. That's a happening. It's a changing effect. Now that this is updating, when Mars subsequently goes over this contractual space, everything your brain has updated, everything you're processing, you're going to take action on. That's going to start this now 2-year contract of action. So we are 1 degree away from Saturn activating this. What's a really great way to make an analogy of this? You, like me, like everyone else in this live chat, like everyone else on the planet, has the capability to engage collectively, where a broadband, or I don't know if this is the right way to say it, a broadband provider or a telecommunication provider can take a device that we all individually have. Like, my device might not exactly be your device, but they access the same frequencies, right? And so all of us are update, all of us got the update. Maybe not everyone updated it, right? But all of us got the update, and now this is everyone collectively coming into this update. So what if now Neptune is a God broadband connector? The way that your cell phone tunes into frequencies from towers that, of course, enable, you can tell I don't know the science of that, but of course enable these communications through frequency. All right, basically fancy telepathy, because your brain also emits frequencies and you have the ability to do this too. Okay, but actually you never not do it. First of all, you should only be afraid if you are an evil piece of shit. If you are an evil bum, then yes. But if you have been killing it the first 30 years, and I don't mean like imposter syndrome, I don't believe in myself. I mean, if you have been a good person, if you have actually maintained integrity, you should be excited. You should be excited. Saturn is just going to make sure what you need to, like, you know, get together before you move forward. But like, yes, your brain, and this is why I love talking about Mercury, because Mercury, Venus is your heart, uh, males, Mars is your dick, woman, Mars is your vagina. But I feel like the moon for the woman is how the vagina feels. Okay. But like, Mars is going to be the sexual desire parts. It's the and then the Venus is like the and then the Mercury is like the nerdy, 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 nerdy. And then of course you have the sun, which is just like how you put it all together. Like, and that is the easiest way that I can break down the personal planets to you. Shout out to those of you just coming in. Okie dokie. Okay. So today we're talking about the nerdy, the nerdy, the nerdy, nerdy, nerdy. But so when you put the nerdy, nerdy planet likes to be in Gemini, where it can be like, this is this and that, and this and this and this and this and this and that and that, and I did this and what, and this is what this is, and this is what this is, and this is what this is. And then it really loves to be in the nerdy sign, Virgo. Analysis, plug, play, we're gonna test this, we're gonna test this. Happy birthday, Galactic, honey. Happy birthday. Plug, play, this is how this is, this is how this is. It doesn't like to be in the dreamer planet. You're putting the nerdy planet into the just chill vibe, man. Yeah, just gotta believe, man. Yeah. So it's hard to nerd out on some dreamy shit. But where there's a will, there's a way. And now there's a whole new system of nerding out on mythological concepts that are now also being integrated into your 3D reality, like an augmented reality app, kind of like how they did with Pokemon Go. You know, you don't know, you didn't get the update. And that's what I'm talking about. This is an update that is happening really galactically. Okay. So anyone with the capacity to process information is literally, tapping into this. Okay. So this isn't the or the it's the I know they think of this. I think cool. Cool. All right. So this is why it's important. First of all, Mercury has led the pack. So now we are processing information ahead of what we're consciously aware of, what we love, and what we're going to do about it. Okay. Right now we're still, coming into the knowledge of what we've already processed. So, and shout out to Kale's in the building. Shout out to you, bro. So this is why this is fucking incredibly, amazingly divine. Okay. Check this out. Check this out. This cell phone emits frequencies. First of all, Say hi, FBI. Say hi. I know you motherfuckers been listening to me, motherfucker. Yeah, what's up? Say hi to the chat. This is to whatever FBI or CIA agents be on my phone. I know you listening, bitch. I know the iPhones. Hey, put your FBI agent on the chat, guys. Oh, it said hi back. All right. So there's frequencies emitting from my phone. Okay, in order for me to make a call, I have a SIM card, right? That connects to specialized frequencies. I think I don't exactly know the science of this, and through these frequencies, through the what do you call it? Through the reception that I have, right? Based on the reception that I have on my phone, my signal is either strong, but if I don't have a strong signal, then there's not enough frequency. I'm not close enough to a tower. Okay. So turns out whether you want to say through quantum mechanics or whether you want to say through whatever, right? Your brain functions similar to the processor on a computer. It functions similar to the processor on a phone. In fact, your brain is so much more superior to this because the intelligence that comes from this device at most can only be artificial. Okay, you are a living breathing entity having a physical experience. So if your brain is processing frequencies, right, you are inputting everything that your brain is taking in through your senses and analyzing, which enables you to output your experience and feedback loop your way through this time and space before, if you don't believe in afterlife, then nothing. If you do believe in afterlife, I'll see you later, motherfucker. Okay, that was a horrible joke. So that being said, you now are in a sea of extra dimensional frequencies, right? It is scientifically proven that you do not perceive more than 99% of the electromagnetic spectrum. So the physical experience you're having accounts for less than 1% of reality. That does not stop your brain in this waking dream from receiving frequencies that you cannot physically perceive. We call this metaphysical. Some can call this a sixth sense, where you are coming into an understanding outside and beyond time with which your brain that functions and processes like a video game character within time and space can only make sense of it through language, symbols. All right, cool. So if your phone or your Wi-Fi connection has to literally tap into the Wi-Fi and internet, do you know your soul, your soul through your brain, okay, your brain, which processes the information that generates power from your soul so that you can now express on the monitor of your spirit and conscious awareness. Your brain is the internet connector, the I'm saying the wrong word, the Wi-Fi connector that can connect its frequency to a universal source, to God. What if Neptune, which rules Pisces, which is the imagination, right, is your potential? Okay, because everyone, I don't want to say everyone has a Neptune sign, but like if we're going to use as an analogy Neptune for this broadband connector through your imagination to connect to God, a God broadband frequency where you're connecting through your imagination to an existence beyond just your physical reality. Because remember, this is condensed energy, right? Like this is technically not just physical, which is kind of like an illusion. So if there's 99+% of reality and existence that is still here, maybe even realer than what we can see, because 2022, the Nobel Peace Prize was one that showed that this, whatever it is not local and real at the same time, right? Now, what if Mercury here is linking your brain collectively, your processor, just like you have a processor, I have a brain, and our brains are receiving frequencies from God knows how much things that we're not even aware that we can even, bring up. Our subconscious that has to block out so much more so our brains don't get overloaded. On top of us hallucinating our conscious reality, you can look up at that TED Talk, Anil Seth, Anil, last name Seth. Boom. Okay, so I wanted to just throw those concepts here because I want to somehow convince you that this Mercury and Pisces transit, you are activating reality warping magic power. Your brain is getting ready to program into its neural pathways the causality through your ability to imagine what you imagine and with decisive willpower actually distort and influence reality with your brain. Nothing that you haven't already been doing, but now the capacity post Mercury conjunct Saturn in Aquarius, which forged the totality of this advanced framework of thinking, aka the last year's download drop was lit. Now we're getting ready to experience it. It's like the software getting ready to play the software. And just like Rel said, complete alignment. So I want to really wrap this around because we're going to end this off with the Neptune conjunction. The once Saturn is the anchor to now embed this system, Neptune is going to be that software bootleg where we're fully tapped in. And because we have this anchor of principles, of systems with Saturn and principles, integrity, okay, because Pisces is meant to really be formless so that you don't have to really adhere to certain rules. Saturn's going to establish these rules so that we can go all in and fully fished hard with Neptune. All right. And we've been having Mercury downloads every year since 2012 with Neptune. The last Mercury download is going to be 2025. Okay, possibly even this year. This could be, and let me show you, like, this could realistically be the last drop in over 160 years. Because, yeah, okay, we're going to have our last one, 2025, at the tail end with the North Node. So, knowing that the North Node with Saturn is going to be here, the North Node is going to take this alignment process, which I will draw out the mathematics for you. And as the time the North Node comes here, you've had a whole year through Jupiter and Gemini, having you practice and understand this next level of magic, which is a higher faculty of your brain that you are unlocking collectively with the rest of the universe. Similar to, of course, the universe hooking you up with a program like a cell phone provider would hook you up with an update. The coolest thing about this, of course, is cumulatively over 30 years, taking every one of Saturn's downloads and it is concluding and completing. So the coolest thing about this is 30 years in the making. So we haven't had this since 30 years. So this is what's going to actually bring, with the sun here, a full total conscious awareness from now here on out to you at will warping reality with your brain. And that is a very radical concept because you would think, wow, if we're all just able to imagine things and make them happen, then wouldn't the world change? First of all, the world is fucking ending. Look around you. Second of all, this is nothing that no one from the dawn of humanity has not been doing every single day of their life. What we are experiencing here with Pluto and with Neptune is a revolution and awakening of the unconscious, bearing fruit of cycles upon cycles of information that our brain has processed over the years exponentially like a bottleneck. So our brains now process more information than most people 2 centuries ago in an entire lifetime. And now the cumulative effect of these revolutionary concepts are not only literally eclipsing, but it definitely puts you in a position to not only experience the blossoming of powers you've been awakening, but this is going to really set on the experience. I'm not too familiar with the two earths. Like I feel like their separation is coming, but I don't think it's going to happen in the way we expect. And the reason why I love that question is because this is what really transcends our perspective. Everything about this Saturn and especially Mercury in Pisces is the culmination of the Mercury Saturn in Capricorn during 2020 and 2021, and then Mercury Saturn in Aquarius 2021 2022. Okay, and so this is the blossoming. You have activated the awakening of God powers 2020. And that doesn't mean that that has to play out in the form of flying and summoning chickens out of your magic wand. This may have been purported as an increase in vitality, sharper mind and focus, kicking bad addictions and habits. This is something that has been in the works for a while, but I'm being very curt with you because you know exactly what I mean. This isn't power that is circumstantial. You have been awakening to a very divine and almost godlike facet to yourself exponentially since 2020. Okay. And I hate to say since 2020 because time at this point is relative. This facet of you, as of course, man is merely God asleep and God is man awakened, is the heights of your potential off the heels of a brand new 12-year cycle of evolution that we kicked off 2023. So even the fact that you're here and alive is a huge deal. On top of that, 2021, 2022, where Saturn was in Aquarius, it's very important to really establish that last year we did not have the conjunction in Pisces. Look at this. We had a 29-degree Saturn Mercury Aquarius conjunction. That was the last download drop in 30 years. That means that at a totality of all the knowledge in the universe, your brain was downloading from that date to, of course, May, June, the activation integration of this development of your neural pathways. That's why it's very important to show you the developmental phase of how every year, and what does that look like? You do this on your phone. So like every year your iPhone goes through an update, and that in that update it improves upon the bugs that the previous version has. It now takes all the information processed and is able to now run more efficiently and maybe induce planned obsolescence so you buy a new phone. But that's neither here nor there. This peak quality with Pluto at 29 degrees represented a very important year last year where Jupiter initiated in Aries and you are coming into the highest knowledge of who you are. We did this in Capricorn a couple of years ago. So going from this to Pisces is a huge deal. And the reason why I'm remarking, thank you, D Cosmic. All right. And yes, I'm looking forward to that. I can't wait to do that reading. That wasn't going to be fire. That was going to be fire. Shout out to those of you. Shout out to those of you booking consultations. I feel you. Once again, this I want to really explain to you the shift between 29-degree Cazimi Aquarius to the sun in Mercury is you activating these supernatural powers is not literally just you. I'm super powerful now. It's not some weird convoluted I got hit by a sun ray. We're talking about years and years and years and cycles worth of development down to your DNA genome that has encoding there from, centuries ago. Okay. So your involvement and co-creative participation in this cosmic development is very revolutionary, and you get to partake in the effects. So the peak quality of a 30-year transit, right, with literally Saturn 29 degrees. That means we got the firmware software update at the highest level. This programmed our brain to be able to process the highest quality of supernatural energy so it doesn't fry our circuit. So now that we're initiating the next level of this, Pisces, every oh god, this is so dope. Everything that we literally did up until now was create a revolutionary piece of technology, which we're using your brain as an example of, right? So everything up until this point, Capricorn and Aquarius, was you building a computer. And then Aquarius last year, you programmed that computer. Oh, yeah, I believe it. Yeah, I know this. Oh, yeah. And some of you guys, you're coming into the wisdom of the gods themselves. So you're overcoming a lot of the programming that maybe you were indoctrinated or conditioned to believe. And now this is you really just freestyling it. This is you overcoming the psychic attack from the collective that is afraid of your individuality and has to retort to high school insults because they're not really smart and they're threatened by your power. You did a whole lot of important things last year. And so this activation is you finally experiencing the programming. Now you're actually activating the software, and this is allowing you to, with the programming, create the software. Okay, because in the New World Order, you're distributing these computers. Once we have Saturn in Aries, it's a whole new world order. Everyone born after 95 is coming into their Saturn return. You should be terrified. Like people who are born in 1994 and 1995, they're having their Saturn returns. They're coming of age. They're fucking powerful. They're not weird. That's 93 and anyone born after like 97. But like they're super powerful and they're really saucy. And it's very important because this next generation of people coming into their Saturn returns are unlike any other generation, and they're creating a brand new world. So by the time we come into 2025 and Saturn's in Aries, you have now completely completed this framework and you're able to now create the identity on. This is where, what do we want to call this computer? Boom. Okay. So now that we have programmed this through your thoughts, right? Okay, if you think that this universe itself is a program sequenced through the laws of physics that create these consistent patterns that are also seemingly random, this is very revealing because now we're experiencing what we've awakened in our hardware and programmed in our minds. And that now Saturn in Pisces is a contract with this provider. It's like, okay, here are the lineup of applications that we have available. Okay. We have this app, the Shut the Fuck Up app. If you want a motherfucker to shut the fuck up, just put this app on. Shut the fuck up. Boom. All right. You have to pay the extra for a hand to come out and slap him in the face. All right. But that's one of our apps. We also have another app. Find me the right restaurant. You know what I'm saying? You press the button, a green light pops up on the right restaurant. It's a controversial app. These apps are almost fantasy like. Okay. Saturn in its totality, it's not just one app, it's every possible app that, of course, if you think that each program, each magic is like each imagination you could have, anything you could possibly imagine, this is going to be you constructing this over the next 2 years. This year and next year, by the time we come back around next year, you have imagineered through your imagination fully functioning applications. By the time Mercury 6 months from now is in Virgo, we will be harvesting the integration of this. And that's the best way to see this. The contract that we have started right now is going to draw out like every year over the next 6 months. So what we started with the Saturn in Capricorn, when Mercury was in Cancer, we had the feel of Saturn Aquarius. When Mercury was in Leo, we were performing. And now Saturn in Pisces, which is constructing your mind around, oh, I'm actually experiencing these abilities, you're fully mastering. That being said, let's be real. This presupposes now that you have had direct experience with your brain being able to process supernatural power and supernatural phenomena. If you feel you have induced certain synchronistic and supernatural experiences to the point where even if it's not totally consistent, it's consistent enough, please comment a 7 in the chat below. All right. If you have been experiencing a subconscious to conscious activation and awakening of your power, where certain things you're thinking or doing affect the world or affect other people or affect more than just yourself, I want to really have you comment 7, because for those of you comment 7, it's the active co-creative participation between you and the universe. This is supernatural, is the new normal that never left, because of course your brain, under this illusion of separation, given that you hallucinate your conscious reality, literally sees you as separate from other people and things, when through quantum entanglement, amongst other things, nothing is truly separate. So your brain, in order to process God phenomena through non-locality, where you are in this geographic space and time linked with something far away that seems removed, it only makes sense for you to think, oh, it was magic or it was God, when really this God effect is a co-creative effect of you simultaneously existing with other components of the universe. And that's not the way I wanted it to sound. I wanted to say it in a more badass way. But like, yeah. So for those of you who are commenting 7, if you're commenting 7, it's because you've used your superpowers. And I don't mean in a delusional way where you're kind of looking for angel numbers. I'm saying in the ways where some of you've saved your life because you've unconsciously activated them. There's a functional case for this where you're able to manipulate causality in a way. And it doesn't mean that you have full control over it. Why? That's what this Mercury and Pisces is instituting. This is mainly more so the programming in your brain of phenomena that may be beyond the limits of what you initially thought possible. And for some of you, that could be waking up early. Maybe you've never woken up early your entire life, and now you can wake up early every day. That's a superpower. I don't care what anybody has to say. That's a fucking superpower. Or to go to bed on time. You've instituted this level of discipline. It'd be the normal little things, I'm telling you. So like, if you commented a 7, this activation and contract is going to have you having a child is definitely a superpower activate for sure. This is definitely going to, if you commented a 7, you are getting ready to take the totality of all the concepts you've experienced of your greater potential, your universal self, okay, and you're going to control it at will. So this is the experience of you sequencing through your imagination the full control of these abilities. It's preparing you for the new world order. And on top of that, the reason why this is very radical is the full interactivity and versatility of everything that will enable you to experience the quality of what it is you've been building. All right. That's why I'm saying it's like, if you use the programming in your computer, Saturn is going to be the testing efficiency to help you understand, okay, you programmed this, but this is how it really looks. So you get to change the coding. New World Order is referring to Saturn in Aries. Okay. Saturn is order and Aries is new. Saturn is the world and it represents order too. So Saturn and Aries with Neptune is not only a new world order where, existing countries are fighting over the narrative of where to lead this next decade, couple decades of innovation and just outright colonialism. But this is also following the end of the world. So Saturn in Pisces represents the end Pisces of the world, Saturn. And this is where The New World Order is going to bring everyone born after 95, and they're going to create the brand new world as they come of age through their Saturn returns. And that means they're going to come into their, superpowers, and it's going to get ugly. I mean, it's going to be very inspirational. All right. But other than that, before that, Saturn and Pisces is not only closing out this cycle with the veil with Neptune that hasn't been here since the 1800s, but it is incorporating the higher faculty of your brain to be fully harnessed through practicing, you guessed it, the law of assumption. If you look at the links in the description box below, I have videos under LOA, how to be in your new reality, no action needed, that will guide and assist you through this. You need to watch this video if you truly believe you need anything outside of you to manifest, because a lot of you think you're spiritual, but if I tell you to literally just assume that you have $1 million right now, you're going to feel uncomfortable about not going to work because you feel like you need something physical to ground. You need to do something. So there could be stubbornness. I'm not trying to really judge any of you, but like it's very important because this is the whole purpose of rewiring your mind. This arc is taking you out of an old paradigm, and we're collectively coming back into this wisdom of the fact that you create your own reality. And this is what is going to bring more through this process, great revelation and activation of this full potential of your brain. So when we look at the law of assumption, the self concept of yourself is completely formed through Pisces. There's this totality and system of belief about what is possible for you. Okay, I love that. What is possible for you to actually create and be based on who you believe yourself to be. What Neptune going through Pisces again since the 1800s is doing is it is transcending your mortality. It is transcending your belief in what's possible for you. Namely, in the sense where you have been taught it is impossible to really have extrasensory perception. You've been taught it's impossible to have prophetic dreams. And yet many of you in this chat have had dreams that have happened, all right, in real life, right? This now, like many other indicators from logical to illogical, are transcending beliefs about who you believe yourself to be. Now that Saturn is coming through Pisces, collectively, it is testing the integrity of these beliefs, because now it's like, okay, you said you believe that you can fly. Well, now you have to fly or you're going to die. Like, how are you going to make this? Like, your beliefs are being tested, right? And this is what's going to be like, okay, you believe you can fly. You have no fucking idea how to do this, but here is actually a real way through your own discipline and integrity to make this happen. It still requires your integrity, where, yeah, it's not enough to just believe it. Do you live it? And that's where Mercury coming into Virgo, making a 180 degree, as you can see right now, Mercury is 10 degrees and the sun is 9 degrees. We have now made it officially 1 degree away from Saturn. Once Mercury is opposite this 180 degrees in Virgo from Saturn and Pisces, the activation of this next contract with your brain will begin to harvest. Well, if we're activating an awareness of this belief that you're activating, because you're going to, over the next few hours to days, actively experience the potential of your imagination. Like, what if you could control your imagination in order to influence your reality? This is what everyone's stepping into. Cool. By the time it's 180 degrees in Virgo, hold me to this. In less than 6 months from now, you will have integrated this belief into your habits. It is now changing your behavior, because it's like, well, damn, if I can imagine that this friend of mine is calling me and now they're calling me, How would I build a whole lifestyle off of this metaphysical mechanic that I have now made very real? Because by the time it's in Virgo, I've changed the way I live my life by incorporating the full integration of the activation of these mechanics. Let's get it. I do not play. And a lot of people commented 7 on the chat. So you've already experienced through synchronicities facets of your potential. This is what's going to enable you to play with the software, because coming into now the integration, once we have the square in Gemini, when Mercury comes back into Gemini, the seeds you're planting now by going in and imagining, this is what I decide for my life. This is what I'm committing that I want to believe. I believe that I'm financially free. I really do. That doesn't mean that I won't work 2 9 to 5 jobs so that I can live in the way I'm comfortable. But I know in my belief, I'm financially free, no matter how that looks like. That's very powerful, because now every action that I'm taking under the belief that I'm financially free. And that requires work, because I can just believe I'm financially free. But now, when it comes time to practice that, and I'm taking actions and influence as someone who is financially tied up, I'm not believing I'm financially free. I'm not necessarily wiring that in. Versus if I'm impressing that, what do you know? I'm taking inspired action that leads me entangled. Even though I can't see everything, I'm still guided just by that intention. But what if that doesn't have to be vague and mysterious? What if there is a system with which you can program in your brain? Welcome to Mercury in Pisces. This conjunction is one of the most important conjunctions we have had in over 200 years. Hold me to that, especially with Pluto here. Okay, so the first thing we want to look at is its sextile to Jupiter, because this is what's enabling you to come into tangible evidence and awareness of this. So because of the expansion of your natural ability to harness your senses through this, this is what, especially through Virgo, is going to help you notice the causality. Otherwise, this would be beyond your awareness. So it would be happening, but you wouldn't even realize it's happening. It's all be auto nervous. And unless you were already a Pisces sun or Aquarius sun, you couldn't necessarily analyze if you didn't have the Virgo energy. Okay. So with that being said, this activation is going to draw us into 90 degrees. We're going to have the retrograde of Mercury in Aries. The retrograde of Mercury in Aries is going to reevaluate what direction we identify with this, because this is going to literally, through your own volition, unlock a lot of blocks. Saturn of delays is going to liberate you from a lot of what previously not only blocked you through your own unconscious habits, but now stunted what you believed in yourself. Some of you may have felt like, as much as you may act like it's not an issue, I don't think that I'm able to attract this caliber of person in my life. And you may tell yourself that you can, but the way you kind of show up for yourself is through a belief that maybe you're not meant to. And now that we're activating this and you're more aligned with what you believe, and not what you believe, with who you are, because this is showing you the reflection. The sun is showing you your potential. And now that you are more aligned with it, well, this is going to change a lot what you believe, because now the people who you felt that for this example, you couldn't reach, now they're seeking you out. Okay. Now, when Mercury is going into Aries to be like, this is who I think I am, this is who I think I am, I now have to reevaluate, because I'm clearly him or I'm clearly her. So now I have to retrograde and literally reevaluate what I was thinking. And then we go direct, boom. This is going to bring us to Gemini. So Mercury in Gemini is going to square Saturn and Pisces. And that's where the seeds that are being planted now will break through the ground. If Pisces is belief, then Gemini is what it is. If Pisces is why it is, Gemini is what it is. Beliefs, thinking. You are now, of course, integrating through the 90-degree angle a thought process as a foundation of what you believe. It's you now flexing the coding. Like, oh shit, I've now fundamentally activated the causality between how I can imagine and create my reality. Well, shit, this is what I want to create. And then from 90 degrees Gemini to 180 degrees Virgo, you are integrating that coding. And by Virgo, you're now harvesting, wow, I'm really living it. And then from Virgo to Sagittarius, you're seeing the meaning of how you now created and harvested this. And then, of course, from Sagittarius to Pisces, we're going to review what we did and we're going to do it all again next year. And here, I'll even show you this is what it's going to look like next year. Next year, Saturn is going to get ready to bring in a new world order. And now, by the time we're doing it next year is a firmware update based on that. So let's just say last year, this is not the best analogy. No, actually, this is a very good analogy. Let's say last year was the iPhone 14. Okay, it's not the best analogy. And this year, you're getting the iPhone 15. Okay, that's the difference. So 2020 was the iPhone 13. 2022 to 2023 was the iPhone 14. Well, this year is the iPhone 15. The difference between last year and this year and this year and next year, right? I know some of you don't like iPhones. Beth, really great question. So for those of you who have already had a Saturn return, this is way different for those of you who haven't had one yet. So I'm definitely going to mention that real quick. But once again, 2023 last year, right, was you coming into an update of the iPhone 14. 2024 this year is you coming into the iPhone 15. Now, next year, you're getting an update to that iPhone 15. So that's kind of the nuance I want to give you, where instead of last year to this year, where we're upgrading the phone, this year to next year, we're coming into the new phone, and then we're going to have a crazy update on this new phone. And then 2026, we're going to come into the iPhone 16, which is not the best analogy because they come in yearly. But like, yeah, I want to make sure that makes sense. So we're coming into a new world of experience, Saturn and Pisces, world, Saturn, Pisces experience. And this is very, 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 very amazing because by the time we come into next year, you've already experienced your potential. And now you're coming into the final level of it where the nodes are going to link destiny to literally establish a whole new dream amongst other things. All right. Because that's a crazy new moon. Everything you're going through right now is preparing you for this new moon next year. That we need to go through this portal to bring in a new world order. And that's a crazy sentence I just said. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's also interesting to see how Jupiter is square all this energy. So Jupiter is also going to get ready, or the sun's going to get ready to complete this. Okay. Apple Vision Pro. So next year is going to be an update on the contract of the unique structure this year. And now this is very important because I was born in 1990, right? So I'm only coming into my first Saturn return. Then you have people who are not even 30 yet. So like they haven't even come into their Saturn return. So for people who have just recently activated their Saturn return or haven't had one, this is your first go around. This is your first time experiencing this energy. This is novel in the sense that some people have lived their entire life and will never experience this energy, given Neptune's 165-year orbit and Pluto's 248-year orbit. So that's what makes this generation unique. But with Saturn, that's once every 30 years. 30 years. So like for people who are born in the 60s, for people who now have had 2 Saturn returns or maybe even 3, this is very significant because unlike us born in the 90s or the late 2000s who have a higher concentration of this power and energy, unlike people born in the 60s and 70s, we don't have their experience. So there's a full maturation of your body's alignment with your soul and other energetic body forms that people who are not 40 or 50 yet are not even close to coming into. Even though people born in later generations have heightened energy, that lack of experience has not fully integrated it. And that's what now makes Pluto Virgos and Pluto Libras perfectly balanced and very perfect in their timing, because it's one thing to have this full maturation, but people who are born in like the 60s and the 70s, your full maturation is happening in these collective signs. So, unlike other generations, you're not only coming in the full maturation, but you're coming at it at its heightened power. And that's what is going to have you all, I believe, not really. I mean, everyone's going to come into this mystery and wonder, but this is concluding and completing upon lessons that you established since 28. You know what I mean? Since 30, WrestleMania 40, that's very true. And it's going to give so much greater ease of efficiency when it comes to controlling at will your supernatural abilities. So it's like, imagine coming into supernatural abilities you have been mastering for over like 30, 40 years. But unlike young whippersnappers who've never really seen a fax machine or have had to actually go outside, or some people were born with just the internet, you have a whole life's worth of experience with which is going to enable you so much more wisdom of how to take advantage of this collective shift, unlike certain babies who have only known the internet, who are awakening their supernatural abilities and are not going to know what the fudge to do at all with them, and won't have understood what it's like to make the mistakes and grow in maturity. They haven't even had their second or third divorce yet. These people think that they're in love with their twin flames. Like, they really don't understand. So this is what's going to make, once again, those of you who have had a Saturn return or two very instrumental in being the way showers and quite literally carrying the rest of the world. Because you have to really think, you who might have been born in the 50s, 60s, or 70s, you as a kid, you are not like these kids as a kid. I think that's a conversation we've had, but we like really haven't had. Like, there really was a cutoff date before shit got stupid weird. So it's like you guys as kids, yeah, you had your rebellious phase. Like, every class of teenagers had their rebellious phase. You had the hippie generation with the 70s, but like, they were not eating butthole, having dance trends, eating Tide Pods, snorting and overdosing on fentanyl. Like, this is totally different. And that generational shock is something that you all have to deal with, unlike any other generation before y'all, and no one will ever give you credit for that. And I think that is a huge, huge, huge facet of this that is going to intensify this whole end of the world feeling. So that's really a major facet I wanted to not downplay and really just kind of establish. We are activating this reality warping brain. Next step is I'm going to show you the trend of the actual sequence of how this is going to go down. As of now, the moon is 29 degrees in Libra. Okay. As the moon will go into Scorpio, it's going to link this psychological, deep understanding, giving you the social saucy context of wisdom that will help you begin to transform this awareness beyond the physical. This is what's going to tie you in very supernaturally and unveil the wisdom through this eighth house transit. It's very interesting to note how, as the moon will begin to trine Mercury, this will strengthen the quality of you noticing how much more you are experiencing this software. Okay. This contract signed with the sun and Saturn is activating a total Saturn, conscious aware sun, brain processing of the blossoming and maturation of your mind, but also the psychic abilities that were programmed in your mind. That's a way of what I want to say. So from now is where you're going to start to experience it. By the time the moon is in Sagittarius, it's going to be the first time you will start to understand what you're seeing. What this means is it's not like you're going to get struck by lightning and you're going to be like, wow, I can manipulate reality now. No, you're getting ready to come into a grand metaphysical awareness of how you have since birth been doing this, how you have been engineering your habits, and how certain things you're experiencing right now are because you are actively creating those spells to keep it. And this is what's going to help you tweak. You're going to be like, oh, wait, okay, I want to do this. And as you imagine it, it's changing. And then you know what to focus on and how you are literally re engineering your brain courtesy of your imagination. That is how amazing you are. Okay. So, on that vein, okay, we want to look at how Mercury's transit through Pisces is being sponsored through the full moon to the new moon, which means we're harvesting this magical game changer. I wonder what that game changer could be. And then we're activating the new moon, like, okay, this is what I believe I can be. And then we're bringing it in, bro. We're bringing it in, sis. This is it. Got Mercury on my AC. You know I got to represent. For those of you of very course who would like an in-depth look into this Mercury transit for you, I am offering my Mercury and Pisces 2024 transit talk, snapshot transit report. And of course, the first 10 people to use the discount code Mercury will get 50% off. I have 15 spots available. Just wanted to let you know. I also wanted to bring to your attention that on top of the readings on my website, I also do have live readings available, or I do also have off, outside the live readings. I think some of you aren't aware that I do tarot readings. I don't offer tarot card readings on my website at the moment, but I do have them on Hipsy. For those of you who want very inexpensive, quick tarot readings, I got you. Okay. That being said, okay. Now that we can wrap our minds around this activation, if we think of our brain as a processor that can connect us through our physical, of course, awareness, and then the invisible frequencies that tap us into our higher self, because we're the avatar to our higher self playing us out through this video game. If you want to see it like that, if you choose to see it like that. So moving forward, you're going to start to experience with the total clarity the active control over the discipline, because now this activation of awareness is going to now test discipline all year. For people who fall off in discipline, they're going to manifest their nightmares because they're not going to take responsibility for what they are allowing to focus on. And this is this thinning of the veil is what's going to make this very seamless due to this awakening and activation. A lot very intensely influenced by Pluto and Aquarius. So once we start to move forward, here's the deal. Once the moon goes into Scorpio, okay, the sun will be sextiling Jupiter. The moon will be strengthening this very natural connection to you here. And that's why the best way to practice this and to see the results instantly is to watch those law of assumption videos. This is going to help through an exercise. And you know what? We can actually activate this right now. So if you want to make this a workshop, I want you to imagine what is one thing or everything, because Saturn is bringing totality. What is everything you want to change about your life? If you feel like there's nothing, then there's nothing you have to do, and you just want to continue to show gratitude. All right. What is something like I feel like some of you aren't aware that you can have this right now? All you have to do is act and think as if it's already here. But I feel like when we say this, some of you move like groaning, like, what? Like, I feel like some of you can't accept that it's that easy. And it's not that it's that easy. You're that powerful. Pisces unveils unconscious beliefs that you may not be aware you're reinforcing that creates the existence you are experiencing. So, like, I feel like if you knew that it was as simple as just imagining, okay, it's here and I'm living as if, you would literally just do that. So, this is what this transit is going to actually show. Hey, you've been doing that, but up until this point, you were just programming this facet of your conscious psyche through your imagination. So basically, the hose of feedback was lagged because it was like a hose and the water wasn't coming through. This activation is unclogging the hose. So by the time the moon is trying water sign to water sign, the liquidity of drawing in this natural energy and flowing is going to be you're going to notice a increased strength. It's on. That's the sextile to Mercury. That is a 300 degree from the activation, having you experience the rewards from career. This is the full experience. And now Fiona Scott said one of the most important things along with Nikki D and Dreaming with Tess. The mind games and psychic attack is to influence through low self-esteem. If we can't control you, then we can control through social pressure how you create your reality. If we can bombard you with negativity so that you don't believe in yourself or you feel negative about yourself, be mindful that this is going to unveil the whole host of secret cybernetic agents in this matrix who wish to derail you from this path of liberation. Saturn, whether it's known as Satan or Kronos or whatever, and H, thank you. I've gotten your report. I appreciate you. I got your order. Okay. This is really more so representative. Let me see. This is really more so representative of the liberation. Saturn liberates you from your limits. So you have activated. I love that. Gotta master the Nen before the 10. You have of course mastered and or stepping into this next plan. You're liberating the dream. Saturn Aquarius liberated your mind. Saturn and Cap liberated your body through your integrity and morals and character. So now we're getting ready to experience the true nature of this character, the divine nature. And this path of liberation is what's going to be instilled by what everything you decide you believe. So that's all you have to do. What do you believe about yourself? Okay. This is what's going to in 6 months have you live this, and in 3 months you're going to break through. You're going to begin to integrate. Okay, the breakthrough is going to be in 6 months. So Nen is your life force, and 10 is the ability to shroud yourself in energy. Okay, 10 is fortifying your body with a cloak of your own aura, and Nen is your aura itself, which is really, the mental force, which pertains to mental physics. And that's a huge element of this Mercury Saturn. You're activating the mental metaphysical quality of your brain, the ability for you to affect change with just your mind. Magicians are mechanics of the mind. Okay. If you think about an electrician is one that can harness electricity. They're mechanics of electronics and electricity. A mechanic is a mechanic of a car. There's someone who displays their expertise. Well, what is a magician? A magician is a technician of aura. They are they are quite literally a mechanic of the mind. They're able to use their mental force and energy to harness that energy in order to accomplish tasks. Just now, like, you will have different elements of magician. A different type of a magician is a healing magician, is able to use their technician of aura or mechanic of the mind to now heal, right? An alchemist. So while everyone may not be a mechanic, everyone has the ability to fix their car. They may not know what they're doing like a mechanic will, but just like everyone may not be a magician, well, everyone has the ability to incorporate the physics of your mind. You do it unconsciously every day. This is now enforcing a conscious awareness so that for most people who won't tap into this supernatural quality, it's just going to be a belief that they hold through to. Whether they're aware of it or not, it's going to be a belief about themselves that they're going to reinforce and literally establish, or they're not going to reinforce and they're going to fall back into old patterns and behaviors. This is what some people may feel is the separation of the two earths, right? Are you going to live this old world where people still depend on devices to do things we can do with our brain, or are you going to integrate both? Because you can't use both, or are you gonna at least acknowledge this true understanding of self that has been revealed to you by facets beyond you that are making themselves known to you. All right. So yeah, okay. I want you to imagine right now, and it's literally as simple as that. The video that I have in the description box below, one of them is called No Action Needed. No action needed. You may have been conditioned to believe that you have to work. And there's nothing wrong with working. You should work towards what you love to work towards. But like somebody had convinced you that you need to force certain things in order to create certain circumstances. And regardless of if you want to do it or not, do you understand that you can imagine it right now? Let's do it together with 270 plus people watching. We'll even do the ritual we do on ceremonies. So I want you to imagine we're going to sign this contract right now with Saturn and the sun while we are aware of it. And the moon is 29 degrees in a Libra of agreements and contracts. All you have to do now that we're doing this collectively together, this is going to, of course, require a lot more commitment. So please don't do this if you're not serious, because Saturn doesn't play. Kronos is an elder god. So Kronos is very serious. Anything that you're committing to believe, please actually commit to. If you do, you'll get an advance. Like Jupiter here in Taurus is a whole cash advance. So please don't commit to something. Like, we will see edits of this once we come into June. You might mature out of what you believed you wanted. All you have to do is just change it and then commit to it. But please do not commit to this, because 270 plus people are going to set the intention that your contract comes true too, or you see through your contract out. And if you were to just back out on it, you know what I'm saying? I'm saying some of you don't get on here talking about, I want to be with my twin flame. And then when you see that your twin flame is talking to somebody else, you get discouraged and you're just like, oh, I don't believe in it. Don't, please do not waver. Okay, this is a very collective, powerful magic spell we're doing right now. So please make it something you're very serious about. And this will effectively work as an advance. What is something you can make this practical or logical? So what is something that you want to create? What we are engineering is a belief. What is it that you believe you are achieving this year or over the rest of the decade? Okay. What this is in my 11th house, right? So in my 11th house of friends and connectivities, what my contract is we are creating a space with which we can hold events in. And through this brand, we can at least travel anywhere in the world, pop up shop, and then we can do this live. Okay. Shout out to Mystical Illuminations, Soul Tribe. We're all successful. We're all wealthy. That's what I'm putting in. So basically, we're all taking this contract and we're setting an intention. we're setting a belief. I now believe this. I know this. I've been known this. Okay. But like, this is something I believe about myself. There's nothing limiting me from traveling anywhere in the world in order to do an event in your hood, or we can fly you out to Vegas where we'll have a convention. Okay. I see it. I see in multiple month conventions. We have like a Scorpio convention for just Scorpio sun sign, moons, and risings. I'm creating this world in my imagination and mind. It's literally that simple. And now all I have to do is just think as if I already got. So this is not going to happen. One day I'm going to do this. No, we've been doing this. I'm with Infinity Gang right now. We're plotting on this right now. We've been doing this. We're in that future space already doing this, and we already run the world. We already done taken over the world. All right, so it is what it is. People don't know about that yet though. But like, yeah, the gang takeover. They don't know about that. But like, it's cool. Like, this is it. So now there's a totality of this. So take your time. Let's take our time really wishing. What is everything you create? What do you see in this vision, which is more Sagittarius? But what do you see with this dream? Okay. Successful podcast where most of y'all are on it as recurring guests. Shout out to Aquarian Essence, right? What do you imagine? We're activating this right now. We are committing to Saturn to just believe. Once we do this contract in Aries, in another couple of years, we will have developed the brain, the imaginative strength and quality now to take more action. Do you have to wait until then to take action? No, you can do it now. But like, once we do this contract in Aries, we're not activating what we're going to believe. We're committing on actions we're going to take, because since then we've come into so much insight and perspective. This is what's creating the perspective. That you don't move ahead sooner than you should. So what is it that your dream is? And it could be multiple dreams. Who are you with? What are you doing? What do you see? What do you believe? What are you wearing? And get prepared to live in it. That's it. Gotta dream big. You don't even have to believe it. You just have to really commit. This is a contract. So the only work you have to do is to create it in your head. Know that it's coming from within. And I know that sounds cliche as fuck. I know, I'm sorry. It is what it is. But like, how do you look? All right. What is, and now I want you to think of something practical, and I want you to think of something that is beyond what you think is possible. So have a few intentions that are practical, that could happen within 2 weeks, 6 weeks. I want to see this growth in my career. I want to lose this much weight. And then I want you to wish for something that you believe is impossible. And I'm going to show you it is not impossible at all. I'm going to show you that nothing is impossible. You'll know you're imagining this because it's changing your mood. You're feeling it. You're experiencing it. This is now the metaphysical connect between time in space. Okay. That connects you and the ever present now, because what you're manifesting already exists. So you're not coming. And this is where now, if you want to maintain this, just watch the video links below. I've given you the tools and resources. Because we're in Pisces season, you're going to see you. If hypothetically it takes like 3 years, it takes like a week to 3 weeks, you're going to notice instant results, because we're in this energy, and really you're going to notice instant results regardless. But yeah, what is it that you're imagining? Because you're already doing it right now. This is just going to unveil what you've already been doing. Okay. And live the dream. Once again, like, if you're limiting, Saturn wants to give you liberation. So if you're limiting it right now because you're like, no, that wouldn't happen. No, it is happening. Now, here's the thing. Do not worry about how. We're not we're not asking you to figure out how it's going to happen. You don't have to worry about that. Check this out, guys. Check this out. You can watch the YouTube video that I did around then. You see that? You see that? That's October 19th, 2023. When we did that transit talk or live, you can go back, you'll see that we said when I did the October transit talk or whatever live video we did, I said, along with you guys, money flows to me naturally and easy. Okay. Did I know how money was just going to flow to me naturally and easy? Honestly, when I said it, I didn't even really fully believe it. I knew it would happen because, you know, I'm a magician myself, but I didn't know how to happen. The very next day, boom. Hey, we have money that you didn't claim. What? I haven't been in TuneCore in over 3 years. So, and that's just a small manifestation. I mean, that's not even like what we're stepping into. That's nothing. That's nothing. Okay. He knows we went to the roulette table. He bet black. No, I bet black. He's Aries with the North Node and Jupiter on his sun in Aries. He bet red. I looked at him like, you think I'm going to bet against Zeus? You think I'm going to bet against you, Zeus? And look, I bet red, doubled my money then and there. And then we did it again the next night. Twice. Yes. Red then black then red. Let's go. Let's go. This is just science. We call it magic. It's just science. It is what it is. Okay. So like there's no limits to this. There's really no limits to this. You have rewired over the past year your capability to step into this heightened quality of creation. I don't even call it manifestation. So this is you flexing your stuff. Let us continue to activate this right now. What is it that, you know what I'm saying, you believe about yourself? Do you believe you're limitless? There we go. Feel it, believe it. Just see it, just acknowledge it. That's it. That's it. Imagine as if you have this gift, whether you call it meditation, prayer, intentions, okay? Change that narrative. What is the story of your life? What are you creating? All right. That's it. Now, here's the thing. Here's the contract with Saturn. And that's why you don't want to keep something just abstract. Put a whole host of it. What is something real to you you're ready to see? Okay. Boom. One thing that I also want to do collectively with you, I want to set the collective intention with you that we can fly. Okay. We're going to hold ourselves that by Saturn and Aries, if not already right now, we can fly. Do you believe you can fly? Like a certain artist convicted of trafficking. Do you believe you can touch the sky? Do you think about it every night and day? Will you spread your wings and fly away? Aquarius, you're an alien. You don't count. You have spaceships. Do you believe you can fly? Okay, Kevin Gates knows he can charge car batteries with his hands because he's a celestial alien god. Do you believe you can fly? This is not a joke. Are you like a bird? Do you fly away? Okay, this is not a joke. I believe I can fly. Just like I didn't know how I was going to get that TuneCore money. I didn't even know I was going to get TuneCore. I'm going to unlock my ability to use my life force energy to fly. Just like Jaden on YouTube became Super Saiyan on YouTube in front of our eyes, even though I didn't see any lights flashing or his hair turn gold. I'm going to attribute it to the fact that he wasn't born a Saiyan. So that's why. But he still went Super Saiyan. I believe that I can fly. That's it. That's it. That's it. So on top of everything you believe, see, I felt that in my solar plexus. I feel it. I'm feeling the power. I don't have to know how. I'm going to unfold and reveal it. So now all I have to do is delusionally act and talk as if I could fly. All right. That doesn't mean that I'm going to forego the laws of gravity and jump off the 9.8 meters per second squared accelerating to my death building. I'm not going to do that because I believe I can fly. So I'm going to actually fly. I'm not just going to blindly believe that it'll work out. No, I'm going to make it happen. whether I have to invent technology or literally just use my mind. So even though I believe I can fly, and I'm gonna act as if I can fly, and I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, I do that. It doesn't mean that I'm going to jump off of a cliff and die, because I'm not gonna die. I'm gonna fly. All right. Now I'm actually gonna levitate first before I have faith to just do that. But like saying that I'm gonna levitate, right, is now breaking through the critical mind of doubt that would almost feel like I can't, that I've engineered by unconsciously believing, no, I can't fly. Right. All right. And this is what I love with the earth elements, where you'll come into a more hyper realistic element of this, but I really do want you to push the limits on what you think is possible. All right. I can teleport. I can do all of that. I really believe I can do that. All right. Now, have I ever done that? Maybe in my dreams. In my head, I have. I'm flying in my head right now. I'll have you know. And I can just pretend that that's not lame. So that's all you have to do. Just like really act as if and talk as if. And this is what, in your committing of this, will rewire your brain to incorporate this element of your subconscious that does not know the difference between what is real and imagined. And like that, you'll be living it. So I have literally just explained to you the process of what you will be activating over the first 90 degrees and then integrating over the next 90 degrees. And you're going to add elements on to this dream. So your signing of the contract is merely just the commitment for, listen, don't let what you imagined just be here. Don't let your dreams just be dreams. Just do it. You don't have to wait for your manifestation to appear before you live your life. You have it now. That's what you're committing to. How happy would you be? Some of you, all you need is $500 billion. You just need that one thing in your life, and it's $5 billion. How would you feel if you were a multi-billionaire, if you were an infinity-year? You would be happy. So why are you not happy right now? This is what this type of exercise really teaches, because some of you truly believe that you need that physically in order to really be happy and live it, in order for you to live your life. I have been jumped by the universe my whole life. So like I've had no choice but to experience supernatural shit. I was in a place where I had no choice but to trust in the universe, where I didn't have a place to stay at a certain point. And because I was able to trust in the universe, I got a place to stay just like that. I was able to get my own apartment just like that. Boom. And so I had no choice but to trust in this power. I would have died in a car accident if it wasn't for the awakening of these techniques. So like it is what it is. And it's not something that I'm saying you have to pay me $500 to learn for in a course. It's not something you have to read in a textbook. It's not something some PhD holding scholar has to teach you in his seminar. It's all inside you. It's all you. No one can tell you how to do this, because you're the only one who can create how to do it. Religion and hypotheses have been created to guide you along the best way to use this ability, but everyone wants to middleman God. You have your connection with the universe, with the source, with whatever the fuck you want to call it. And this is now having you imagineer the system of beliefs that co-create this realization through the divine revelations that will facilitate moving forward. And that's basically it. So now that you've signed the contract, right? Get ready to see a whole bunch of goddamn synchronicities. As soon as the moon goes into Scorpio, it's going to be a haunting realization that, oh shit, this is actually really happening. And you're going to strengthen the connection of what your brain is dreaming up and processing. Because here's a really good way to see this. All right. Let me see if I can get this. Oh yeah, get out of my way. Oh yeah, Joel. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Who told you to log me out? Okay, cool. So checketh this out. If you willest, checketh this out. If you willeth see that, of course, your brain functions kind of like this. If we look at the manifestation process, okay. So basically, you see that there's the 3D, okay. These 5 little hillybillies are facets of your 5 senses. All right. And then here's you. Okay. And so these 5 hillybillies that are like your 5 senses sense the 3D reality. And then it goes into your brain, and then your brain makes a report. This is what your conscious mind is in control of. Okay. And then that conscious mind, which is you looking and being that you're getting report from these hillybillies, and you're like, oh wow, this is what's happening. This is what's happening. And I see this and I see that. Okay. And now you're taking that report and you're giving it to your subconscious. As you can see, your subconscious does not have eyes. It trusts your consciousness blindly. So never mind the fact that you hallucinate your own reality, right? You may think you understand nuances in the moment, but like you're looking at a situation and your senses are showing you that Bill in front of you is angry. Okay. And now you're telling yourself, Bill doesn't like me. You're writing this in a report based on what I'm sensing. Bill doesn't like me. Bill thinks I'm a piece of shit. Okay. Now, what you can do instead, right, is even though you experience what you're experiencing with Bill, your subconscious is not aware of what you saw with Bill. So you can write in the report, even though you're picking that up in your 3D, you can still think, Bill thinks whatever, Bill thinks I'm the shit. Yeah, Bill was acting up, acting weird, but Bill knows I'm the shit. Bill would never try me, because if Bill ever tried me, I would have to show Bill, I'm with the deal, and I better not smack Bill. Shit, Bill is a bitch, honestly. But and this is so your subconscious is gonna get the report, like, oh, I must be that dude. I didn't even think Bill not even fucking with me. Now, when you see Bill next, Bill's gonna walk up to you like, hey, I know I was angry the other day, but I'd never fuck with you like that, right? And then there's your subconscious gonna be like, I know that, Bill. I know that, Bill. And that's it. This is how you do not program based off of what you see in your 3D, of course, your reality. This is now the concept of this doesn't have to exactly be it, but if you think of the concept of the devil card, the ruler of this world, the material 3D reality that seeks to chain you in its bound. When you look at your 3D reality and you believe it to be a reality, even though you only see less than 1% of the electromagnetic spectrum, you are literally giving your power away to the devil, versus allowing the spirit to live over the flesh, and now living in truth and spirit, and only seeing what is good, only seeing what is kind, only seeing what is pure, dieting your mind, affirmations, which don't have to be just stuff on a paper. What is it that you're thinking to yourself? That's what's going to have dominion over the flesh, over the materialistic 3D deception of the world from the devil. Boom. That is my TED Talk. Okay. That is literally it. Boom. So these are concepts I want to make sure we're clear on, because as the moon will go into Scorpio over the next 2 days and will sextile Jupiter, the moon's opposition to Taurus is going to intensify the strengthened quality square Mars and Venus in Aquarius of the energy you're harnessing. that strengthened quality of energy is going to add more strength to your capacity to experience more of these synchronicities. In other words, if you've ever experienced a synchronicity in your life, what if you can control the sequence of how and why you're experiencing the synchronicities? What if you can take this metaphysical, seemingly magical experience that you have and now step into the next level of this like never before in a very tangible way that affects your senses forevermore? Welcome to Mercury and Pisces as we are activating reality warping brain potential. And now the understanding of the effect of this is seen once we complete this 270-degree angle of the moon to Mercury and the sun. This is what is going to show us the meaning of the dream we're seeing. We at this point have harvested the full moon. Okay, we've harvested this change of perspective, and we are applying this wisdom, this psychological understanding at the core of our being of what we are believing in and creating, and we are now seeing it. So this is where you're going to start to see things change, because it's like, okay, I imagined that I wanted to be on a beach with a talking boat, and now I got invited to go out to the beach. Like, you're going to start to see elements based on your consistency of feeding this dream machine, where you are, of course, which now you see it requires discipline. Being a master magician, if everyone could be a master magician, then everyone would just become a magician. Being a magician or wielding magic requires discipline. You need to be out in the forest practicing your Wingard Leviosa. Wingard Leviosa. Behind every master magician is a motherfucking magic nerd who was out in the forest practicing their spells for hours. You can't just be Kobe without going in the gym. People think this magic shit is fluffy, and it's like, oh, you just have to believe. These motherfuckers saw that shit trending on social media and they believe they're a witch. Most of these witches come from lineages. They have been doing this shit ever since they were a kid. It's a fucking lifestyle. Manifestation is a lifestyle. It's not something you just dip into when you want. It's literally just the quality of how it is you align to who you've always been. All right. So with that being said, okay, this is going to show you not only the completion of this harvest, but it's going to prepare to angle how much more you believe. This is going to be the first challenge for you to dream bigger, because right now I'm telling you of this concept that you've lived your whole life and you're already seeing results for, right? And it's like, okay, Peace Dealer is reminding me what I've always known about, me being able to, right now manifest what I want, right? And it's not as simple as just getting what you want, but we're using this as an example because I think that's a very important motivator. Like, if you knew without a shadow of a doubt, right? So now the moon in Sagittarius is where, oh my gosh, I need to dream bigger. I didn't know he meant now. And once you're coming into a real-time adjustment of, no, I don't want it. Okay, I want it. Like, you're going to see the different potentialities and possibilities of course, what's possible, of what you can create. All right. This is the creation of the dream. This is the interpretive meaning of the reasoning behind what you're going to be believing about yourself. This is where your self-concept reaches an apex, because you see everything that's possible because you're creating it. All right. Once the moon goes into Capricorn, the tangibility and practicality of where you're directing this perspective is going to make this even more real with the trine of the moon in Cap to the Taurus energy. And once the moon goes into Aquarius, you're actively transcending the supernatural understanding of this perspective. Well, because you're awakening the most heightened quality of the supernatural experience, which will have you in this dark moon of the balsamic come into some of the most legendary synchronicities you've ever experienced in any one of your lifetimes. And that's what's going to set up the new moon in Pisces, which is also somehow going to be the Kazemi with Neptune and Mercury. And once we do this, you're basically just taking all the LSD that your cousin stashed in the drawer and you're just eating it. And you don't care if you go back from that, and you fry your brain permanently, which is why if you at least signed this contract with Saturn, you're going to stay committed to a system of beliefs that no matter what happens around you, you won't give up. You won't just waver, because if we didn't have this contract with Saturn, Neptune's going to show you everything as well, the dream and the nightmare. And some of you could take that so seriously, but with Saturn, where you signed your contract, you're going to just maintain that commitment, maintain that commitment, maintain that commitment. And yeah, we're going to end the Mercury transit off with the new moon. By the time the moon now gets on Mercury, it's in Aries. Boom. And that's what's going to now apply this activation of this perspective towards directing that perspective in Aries. Is I believe this is who I am. I believe this is who I am. I am this. I am that. I am him. I believe I'm him. I believe I'm him. Oh, wow. I really just manifested that. Wow, I can really do this. I believe I'm him. I'm him. I'm him. I'm him. I do this. I do. We're not there yet. We're not there. Before we come into this rampaging warlord energy and sign, we are adjusting our perspective. Pisces wants to show you're not dreaming big enough. You thought you knew your potential. It updated. Did you get the update? Oh, I hope you did, because like there's a lot more. There's a lot more you can achieve, and it's time for you to do that. Boom, straight like that. Boom, shaka to the laka. Okay, Penelope, thank you very much for your Cash App. I very much so appreciate you. And yeah, all right. The moon is still 29 degrees right now. It's about ready to go into Scorpio. And once it goes into Scorpio, we're going up this roller coaster of realization and revelation. The moon in Virgo and Libra, we're just really creating the lines and rules. We're about to get saucy, guys. Like the moon is at the very end of Libra. We're about to get super saucy. This is about to kick in. You're about to feel the energy very intensely, very strongly. So I just want you to really remember you are constructing these beliefs. This is your arc. This is you walking on water. Some of you can believe you can really literally put chakra to the soles of your feet and walk on water. So I want you to push and literally, I want you to push yourself and really believe that you are at the realization of everything you ever wished for. You're not waiting for it to come. It's already here. All right. So I'm out. It looks like none of you want live readings. If any of you want the snapshot transit report, feel free. Basically, this is going to set up Mercury in Aries, which is going to bring the Taurus signature. So 30 degrees to 60 degrees is going to manifest the power of your brain function. It's going to actively apply this perspective, and you're going to start to manifest it because you're taking those actions to build. And then it's going to go into Taurus, 60 to 90 degrees, and we're going to strengthen those actions physically in our senses. And that's where we're going to start to experience it as it begins to integrate in Gemini. And we step into a whole new frontier of magic, activating collectively through your own individual experience. And it might happen during, all out war, but hey, you guys stay blessed as always. All right. I was going to read some tarot cards, but I'm outie. Okay. Until next time, I'll see you tomorrow.